Hi, friends. I just wanted to tell you a little bit about how Retirement Rescue Reset works and how it happened to me and my spouse. Um, I was 53 and my spouse was 55 when we both got laid off from pretty senior jobs that we'd held for over a decade. Um, they essentially got rid of all older workers and brought in younger workers who are less money, and we were literally scared to death. We were stunned, absolutely stunned, and no job, couldn't find another job, no safety net, and we needed money immediately. I couldn't wait for these endless amounts of interviews that weren't showing up to happen. We had bills. And I want to say what worked for us might, all of the things might not work for you depending on your circumstances, your abilities, but there's a pretty wide range of things that we did, so I wanted to just share that with you. The first thing we did was we gathered together all of our belongings that we didn't use anymore. We had a whole closet full of things that people had gifted us that we never even opened from the last 20 years. And we started taking pictures of them and putting them on Vinted and doing reselling. Because we had bills to pay, car insurance, insurance for the house, food to eat, utility bills, and we were running out of our severance. And we don't have children, so we didn't have that. Our parents have passed away, so we had no backup. But what I did know is whatever we did, it could not be something that AI could do because we just come out of that situation. Younger workers were hired to replace us, and they automated a lot of job functions with AI. So I saw these courses being advertised all over the internet for, open an Etsy store, create digital products, passive income. We didn't want any of that because, again, that's rolling the dice, and we didn't have any latitude to roll dice. We needed money, real money in our account to pay bills. So on Facebook, as we're doing all this Vinted reselling, which we still do to this day, we get things from charity shops that we know can sell a little bit, so we make probably 300 pounds a month doing reselling. I saw an ad for somebody who wanted someone to walk their dog because now that COVID was over, they had to go back to the office. So I started walking that dog every day, Monday through Friday, and they wrote me a review and they said, open a business page. So I did, about dog walking and dog sitting. And they wrote me a review and they recommended me to their friends. And then I had so much that my husband had to get involved. Then people wanted overnight sits, and people on here have questioned my rates. I should state up front, we live in London, England, in zone 1, on the edge of zone 2, so this is the priciest part of London. One of the decisions we made was we had a 3-bedroom place. We downsized to a 2-bedroom. And the reason why is my spouse is disabled. Instead of going for a 1-bedroom, sometimes we need a carer to spend the night. But passive income, this is not AI anything. This is not drop shipping. This is not digital products. This is not. This is real service work. So I kept combing Facebook for people who needed stuff. A handyman to hang a picture. Boink, my spouse wrote them. Then somebody was looking for ironing, babysitting. So we diversified into all these areas, but the dog business kept going and going and going through word of mouth. People wanted to go on holiday. They had reactive dogs. They had high pedigree dogs. They didn't want their dogs to be in a kennel. They didn't want their dogs to be with other dogs. They wanted one-on-one continuous care, which is the most expensive way of doing it. So we called around to other dog sitting places to set our rates. So on an average month, we earn approximately 2,000 pounds from dog sitting. Doing the ironing service work, just bed linens and ironing, dress shirts for busy professionals in my area. I started a Facebook page for it called The Press Place. So I iron in my home while I'm watching TV and I'm dog sitting at the same time. I make over 1,000 pounds a month doing that. My spouse does light gardening work, weeding, leaf blowing, pressure washing, 1,500 pounds usually from that, sometimes a little less depending on the season. What we're looking for here is a system. So you can't keep spending the way you were spending. You can't keep living the way you were living on the old income. And that's a hard one, right? Because you're used to that. So you can't do a total 180 and change everything about your life in one day. The first thing you do is you need to get income coming in. As you're making that income, even though you feel like you need all of it, take $5 or 5 pounds and put it in a savings and increase that as you can, because you need a safety net. It took us a year to build up a 3-month safety net, which is the first time that we've had that in years. We were living above our means. We were making good money and we lived right up to that level. And that was a mistake that we made. So this has been a huge learning experience for us. So we meal plan. We make sure to turn lights off. No subscriptions unless it's absolutely necessary. We have basic phone plans, right? We, use WhatsApp so we don't have to spend for calls, because you can hear that I'm American living in London. So if I have to call anybody from America, instead of just calling them on mobile and using all that money, I use WhatsApp. But it's not just dog care. I know I post a lot of dogs because I do it every single day. It's service work that AI can't replace. Companionship visits, running errands, babysitting, dog sitting and dog walking is also the most lucrative. Ironing, handyman jobs. My spouse actually got a job which paid 150 pounds. It took about 90 minutes to put together IKEA furniture. So you want to be looking on Facebook. You want to use your Nextdoor or Neighbors app and put yourself out there. It's budgeting is a part of this plan. You have to budget for things. You have to pay your bills on time. You need to, if you have debt, if you're carrying debt, you need to call your lenders and tell them that you've been laid off, you're not in employment, you are not in employment, and see if they can give you a deal. But remember, you don't need a job, you need income. You don't need a boss because you are the boss. And when you're doing these jobs, when I'm walking dogs and another person stops me who's walking a dog to compliment the dog that I'm walking, I tell them, I'm a dog sitter and a dog walker. Here's my phone number in case you ever need help. Tell every single person that you know what you're doing. Don't be ashamed, because that's how I built up a huge business of dog walking. The Facebook business page that you're going to start for whatever you decide to do is free. Start it. You can even connect it to your phone number. I've also, because I live in London, so I can walk everywhere, I've gone into local veterinary practices and explained to them that I'm a dog walker and dog sitter. I registered with the council. I got insurance. It's £9 a month. So that I'm totally legal. I can show those documents, and they put me on their book. So when one of their clients of the veterinary practice needs a dog walker or sitter because they're going away, and sometimes I do it in the client's house as well. So it's like a little vacation. Then it becomes house sitting. So I can increase my rate because I'm watching their house and their animal. You must follow local laws. So when you decide to do things, do some investigation with Google if it's allowed where you are. If you can cook meals in your home and sell, you're great at lasagna, and every Friday you want to make 10 lasagnas and sell, and in a foil pan, and sell them to families for the weekend, That's income. But you have to change your habits. So we don't eat out. And we have a heck of a time cooking together. We find recipes on Instagram or wherever, and we want to try it out. We plan our budget in the next week to do that. And we look for budget-friendly meals. This is how you are going to survive it while you're building it. But if you're just starting out and you're struggling, especially if you have children, use every support available to you. And when I say that, I mean food banks, government assistance, if you qualify for that. And as your income starts growing, you step out of the public assistance, give it back to them, so that the next person who faces a financial gut punch when they don't expect it and are down on their knees, and now you're on your feet, it's available for them. If you're over 50, if you've been pushed out of work, if you've been made into forced retirement like we were, there are ways to get through this. I'm using them and doing them myself. I'm going to show you how to do it. Subscribe to Retirement Rescue Reset, and we will survive and thrive through this new season of our life together and share our successes. I hope to hear from you soon. Bye, friends.